By this point, you probably know that the iPhone X is the most expensive Apple has ever offered. And you might have also heard that it's the best the company has ever made. Both of these things are true. But to me, the question is whether that phone is worth the $1,000 price tag. I'm Michael Fisher, and this is the Mr. Mobile review of the iPhone X, brought to you by Tech21. If you're unclear on the difference between a hands-on video and a review, this is the perfect opportunity to clear the waters. Last week, when I had just a few hours with the iPhone X, I found its gesture-based interface complicated and clunky, its Face ID locking mechanism only on par with Samsung's similar system. Well, it turns out this is the kind of device you have to live with for a while. I'm not saying they're flawless. The gestures are less intuitive than on the BlackBerry and Palm platforms that inspired them, and an unlock mechanic that makes you look at your phone is still less convenient than a fingerprint sensor. But after almost a week's use in the world, this phone's gestures now feel natural enough to make the old home button seem archaic. And I've discovered that in about 4 out of 5 cases, Face ID is so fast that I don't even notice it's working. I just swipe to unlock. The occasional inconvenience of having to punch in a PIN isn't great, but it's also not a deal breaker. On paper, the side keys on the iPhone X are so confusing that Apple included a cheat sheet right in the box. But again, you get used to it. Summoning Siri with the side key feels natural enough if you've ever used a walkie-talkie, and I think it's worth the side effect of now having to use 2 buttons to turn the phone off. As for Siri herself, well, you also have the option of mapping a 5-click shortcut to 911, so you can call the police quickly in a sticky situation. Yes, I still notice the notch in day-to-day use, but I've come to like it more, not less. No other phone looks quite like this, and when iOS calls attention to the notch, it does so in just the right way. Developers have been adapting their apps to accommodate it so rapidly that many of my complaints from a week ago no longer apply. Now, practically speaking, those looking for the maximum amount of screen area will still be better served by the iPhone 8 Plus. And that phone's LCD technology is also less prone to the burn-in that the iPhone X's OLED panel might suffer over time. So the X is still the less practical choice, the phone for flashy folks. Maybe there's no better illustration of that flashiness than Animoji, which uses face mapping to do this. Yeah, this is a dumb feature, but it's here to showcase Apple's emergent focus on augmented reality, so expect this tech to be used for more important features in the future. I was more excited for the portrait mode capability on the front-facing camera, but so far, I gotta tell you, that's been a big letdown. Edge detection just isn't good enough to reliably separate subject from background, so you get awkward artifacts and bleed-overs, just like we've seen since the first days of portrait mode over a year ago. Google has Apple soundly beat here with its Pixel 2 line, and it got there with far less trial and error. In more traditional photography, the iPhone X brings the same great performance as the iPhone 8, now with optical stabilization on the telephoto camera as well as the primary. Also like the 8, the X can shoot 4K video at 60 frames a second and Full HD slow-mo at 240. That's something not many Android phones can do yet, since the current top-of-the-line Qualcomm Silicon doesn't support it. But again, with the exception of those selfie portraits and Animoji, both of which are terrible, you can get nearly the same output from the iPhone 8 Plus. And the competition from Samsung holds its own. Those who don't like the Galaxy Note 8's punchier colors and higher contrast have a full suite of manual controls right out of the box. I'm using the Note 8 as an example because of its price similarity to the iPhone X, but between Samsung, Google, LG, HTC, and Huawei, the ranks of really good cameras in the smartphone world are getting crowded. To its credit, the iPhone X does really nail the fundamentals. Its voice calls are crisp with good side tone, its dual speakers are clear and louder than ever, its battery is big enough to get you through a long day with no problem, even with a few hours of hotspotting, and its glass and steel frame feels every bit the luxury indulgence it's advertised to be. And yet, Look, I'm the biggest phone nerd I know, and even I can't get over this thing's $1,000 price tag. The Note 8 I keep referring to is up there in price too, but it's $50 cheaper and brings so many more features that comparing the two is not even apples to oranges. We're talking apples to durian. Meanwhile, the iPhone 8, which shares so much of the iPhone X's DNA, starts at $700. That's a massive markup for a look. This is not the first time Apple has pushed the limits on price. Back in 2007, the first iPhone was expensive too, and it lacked features like 3G and GPS that even at the time were considered essential. But that iPhone was a revolutionary rethinking of what a smartphone should be. The iPhone X isn't nearly as ambitious. The edge-to-edge screen, the dual stabilized cameras, the wireless charging, the gesture interface, they're all great, but we've seen them before. And even on this $1,000 smartphone, Apple charges an additional $75 to let you fast charge it, a feature that comes standard on every Android flagship. It's kind of hard not to see that as a cynical cash grab by one of the richest companies on the planet. Now, here's why none of that matters. Apple has a well-earned reputation for excellent customer service, and it's got an ecosystem that people are willing to spend more to be a part of. In a country like the US, where carriers let you spread the cost of a phone across 1 or 2 years, someone who wants to stay in that ecosystem but doesn't want a boring old design, suddenly has the option of paying $40 or $50 a month for this truly beautiful hardware. If I were a lifelong iPhone user, I'd definitely be one of them, because there's so much to love about this device. But I come from the Android world, where there's so much quality available for half or even a third of this phone's price that I just can't get past it. The iPhone X is a great smartphone for rich people, or for the Apple loyalist who wants to splurge to celebrate the iPhone's 10th anniversary. If that's you, you're going to love this device. If that's not you, then almost any other option will be a smarter use of your money. One more thing, the iPhone X also seems to be no more durable than any other glass-on-glass smartphone, so if you do take the $1,000 plunge, set aside another few bucks to protect your investment with a protective case from today's sponsor, Tech21. These folks have been building phone cases for over 10 years, using scientific materials tested in partnership with the National Physical Laboratory. The Tech21 Evo range with Flex Shock material gives you an ultra-slim profile with 10-foot drop protection, designed specifically for your iPhone X to keep it covered drop after drop. Get yours from Verizon Wireless at the link in the description below. Be sure to subscribe to The Mr. Mobile on YouTube for more reviews just like this one. Till next time, thanks for watching, and stay mobile, my friends.